Okay, so I already shocked my wheels, and then the first thing that I'm going to do is put on my seatbelt. And you always want to tell the examiner, could you please put on your seatbelt? They'll never put it on, but at least you're letting them know that any passenger you get inside your truck, you're going to do the right thing and tell them, please put your seatbelt on. And now I'm going to do a safety start, consists of checking it to neutral, putting my clutch in, and starting the truck. And now I'm going to go ahead and make sure and build pressure. If I see that my pressure is down, I'm going to go ahead and build pressure before I start my in-cab inspection. You always want to do when you get in a truck and you start it, make sure that you check the primary and secondary air tanks. If they're not filled up, please build pressure before you leave, because if not, you're going to be dragging your tires. It's very dangerous, especially on the newer trucks. Sound go away. You already filled up your tanks. Okay, and it should be filled up at 125, so by the time I do with my in-cab inspection, it'll be fully, okay, so I'm going to start with my in-cab inspection, and the first thing I'm going to start is I'm going to start with my windshields, left and right. Make sure they're in good conditions, not cracked, broken, free from any stickers obstructing my view. They always need to remain clean. The only stickers that I'm allowed to have is my DOT inspection and my license plate up to date. Then I have my sun visors, left and right, in good conditions, not cracked, broken. Weather strip all around, no signs of any leaks, in good conditions. Now I'm going to check my left and my right windows and mirrors. Gotta make sure the same thing, free from any stickers obstructing my view. But they always need to remain clean, and they need to be adjusted to the driver's view. And from there I'm going to jump down here to my floor, make sure it's free from any obstructions. It could be anything like bottles or anything that can get stuck under my pedals, and that could be very hazardous. The next thing I'm going to check is I'm going to check for all my pedals. I'm going to check my accelerator, working good, my brake pedal working properly, and my clutch is in good conditions. It should not have no less than 1.5 inch of free play. If it has more than less than 1.5 inch of free play, it needs to be readjusted. And all three pedals do have the proper rubber on them. It's in good conditions, and none of them get stuck. From there, I'm going to check my steering wheel, make sure it doesn't have no more than 2 inches or 10 degrees of free play. From there, I'm going to move on and check my turn signal. I'm going to check my right turn signal, it's working properly. Left turn signal, it's working good. If by any chance I see one of when I put my turn signal and the blinker is blinking really fast, it's automatically telling me that I have a burnt bulb and it needs to get fixed as soon as possible. Now I'm going to check for my hazards, working properly. And the proper way to check is if I put my turn signal and I do a walk around all around my truck. But the best method is if you have a helper, that's even better. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and check this side of my panel on my left side, and I'm going to move on to my right side. So I want to begin with my utility light. It's in good working condition. That's in the back of my cab in case I need to work into my catwalk or my glad hands or anything like that. Next, I have over here my panel dimmer. It's in good working conditions. This is for the nighttime, or if it's too bright, it can make you sleepy. It can be very hazardous. Next, I got my panel light, proper color red, for the nighttime when I'm driving, so it doesn't obstruct my view on the outside. And I got my defrost for my left and right mirrors in good working conditions. In case that it's not working on winter time, the truck is automatically out of service until it gets fixed. Okay, from there I'm going to move on to my gauges. Then I'm gonna start with my oil pressure, and it goes by 10. So it's 10, 20, 30. Right now my oil pressure is at 30 psi. It's in good working conditions. Next I'm gonna go and check my water temperature, and it goes by tens as well, but it starts at 100. So it's 10, 20, 30. It's at 130 Fahrenheit, good conditions. Volts, it's at 14%. It cannot be less than 12, good conditions. My speedometer, my tachometer, also known as your RPMs, in good working conditions. Speedometer, I can't check it right now until I do my tug test, so I'll check that later. Primary, secondary air tanks more than 125 psi, which is your maximum in good conditions. Fuel, I got a little over 1 quart, good working conditions. This is what we call the pressure gauge. It shows how much pressure I'm applying to your brake pedal. Good working conditions. So now I'm going to move on to my right side of my panel, and I'm going to start with my cruise control. Turn it on. On your high, on your low, good working condition. Next I'm going to check my engine brake. I'm going to check the high one. Low, good working conditions. Next my wiper blades, working properly. Let's check for a washing fluid. And we got to take it easy on that because it's very expensive. Turn it off. Next I got my headlights, good working conditions, and I do have my high beams and my low beams. And then all the way to the bottom I do have my running lights in case I'm in a truck stop or something. Some people know there's a stop truck. From there I got the emergency flasher. What this does, all your lights on the outside flash, and this is to communicate the risk. People behind you on a freeway can see in front of you because you see that 14 feet high and there's an accident, they can't see it, so you go ahead and warn them with it. That's what it's for. And we got the in-cap light in good working conditions. Next I got all my computer controls. This is my computer right here. It'll read for my temperature, my fuel, and my trip, and my reset buttons in good working conditions. Next both my air valves free from any leaks. And next I got my fifth wheel slide. This is to distribute the weight on my back axles, which is a fifth wheel slide. Always needs to remain on the lock position. The inner axle differential, this works as a 4x4 when they're on the lock position, such as get through loose gravel or ice. Always needs to remain on the unlocked position. This one controls the AC and heater on the back of my cab, and now I'm going to be checking for my AC. It's working good. And now I'm going to check for my defroster. And you guys got to wait, give it a few seconds until you can see the air flowing through. There we go, it's working good. In case that's not working in the winter time, the truck is automatically out of service as well until it gets fixed. And the last thing I'm going to check to make note that I've already finished is my city horn and highway horn. And I've just concluded my in-cab inspection. Now I'm going to proceed to my air brake test. For that I'm going to make sure the primary and secondary both at 125 psi. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my engine. I'm going to put my key in the on position, and you can tell when it's in the on position because all your RPMs and such, they move on, they reset, so that's when you know it's working good. So all your gauges, you can also check all my gauges are working good. And the first thing I'm going to do, my wheels are shocked, I'm going to release my valves. It doesn't matter which one you do first. It takes 10 to 15 seconds for them to stabilize. What's going on right now, all the air lines and brake chambers are getting filled up with air. Once it stops, I'm going to start with my static test. Without me pushing anything, I shouldn't lose more than the 3 psi in 1 minute, and then I'm going to time it right there. And you guys wait the whole 60 seconds, 1 minute, without pushing anything. Okay, we'll pretend there goes a minute, 60 seconds, and I didn't lose more than the 3 psi. So next step I'm going to check is for my brake pedal, also known as the throttle valve. I'm going to put about 80 to 90 psi pressure, and I shouldn't lose more than 4 psi within 1 minute. And I'm already timing it. Okay, there goes my minute 60 seconds. I didn't lose more than the 4 psi. The next step, I'm going to check for my low warning signal. Make sure it comes up at 60 psi or below. Always pump it 2 or 3 extra ones so the low warning signal doesn't come off. So it's working properly. The next step is I'm going to check for my spring brake valves, and do not touch the spring brake valves at all because they will fail you. You can just point at them. I'm going to be, let's go ahead and fanning the brake pedal, and at 45 to 20 psi my spring brakes should pop up, and then the red one is going to pop up first to prevent the jackknife. So here we go, and you guys got to keep your eyes into the valves because you want to be the witness that they actually both come out. Now during winter time they won't pop out really hard, but they'll come out really slow, and that's where you gotta keep an eye on it. There we go. So my valves popped up, it's working good. My next step is I'm gonna go ahead and check that it's in neutral, and I put the clutch in, and that's my safety start. Start my truck. My next step is I'm gonna go ahead and rev my engine or accelerate my engine to 1500 RPMs, and I should build pressure from 80 psi to 115 psi, 45 seconds, 3.5 minutes altogether. I'll show you what the 45 seconds is for later right now. What's good for it to check that it comes on but doesn't come up. Here goes my 45 seconds. You hear the turbo. That's when your 45 seconds begin. And this truck is actually good because it does it in less than 45 seconds. So my low warning signal will come on. It's working properly at 60 psi or above. Okay, so I'm now filled up, and I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to my next step, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my tug test. For that, I need to get off my truck and remove my shocks. I normally would turn off my truck. I put the key in my pocket for safety, but right now since I'm in the exam, you know, I'm time consuming, so I'm gonna try and save some time. So I just remove my seat belt, and I'm gonna get off the proper way. You guys make sure you get off the proper way because they will fail you. 3-point step down. Safety gear.
What the hell? Where is he going?
Shit. Right. Get off the proper way. 3-point step. And the first thing you guys want to do again is please put on your seatbelt. Don't forget that because they will fail you. Seatbelt locks properly, and now I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to my tug test, and no pressing the brakes. So I'm just gonna put it on gear. Second gear works best because a lot of people like to start on first, and when they're nervous they go on reverse, and guess what? That's an automatic fail. Second gear, and the first tug test that I'm gonna take is for my trailer. So I'm gonna be pushing in this one. I'm gonna be pushing. So I'm gonna be checking this one, and when I release the clutch, I should feel a tug on it. If it proceeds to the front, then we have something wrong in it. And it's holding good. Now I'm gonna do the opposite. I push in the brake one to release the valves, and push in the parking brake to stay on. So So now I'm going to be checking the tractor brakes on. That noise is not going to go off because they have the parking brake on. You're going to do the same. Just release the clutch a little bit. Once you feel the tug, you push it back in. In this case, it's working good. Now I'm going to go ahead and check my service brake, which I'm going to check all the system on my brake. And this is the perfect time to check the speedometer. I am going to go about 5 miles an hour, and I'm going to hold my steering wheel very lightly. If it moves to the right or to the left, it means I have suspension problems, flat tire, or uneven pavement. So here we go. And once you push this one in, you're not going to have any more brakes. So you are now allowed to go ahead and push the brakes, so you will move or move back. And you guys don't have to do this, but I do like to do it. When I proceed forward, I do give the first warning in case there's people around. It's telling them to get moved away. And then here we go. So hold on, alright guys? There we go. Clutch and brake. It's working good. Now I'm going to reposition my truck. We saw that my my speedometer is working properly. And now I'm going to give the fair warning for 2 honks when I go back. Clutch, brake. Put it on neutral. Release both of them down. And I've already finished with my pre-trip inspection, my in-cab inspection, and my air brake test and my tug test. I am now ready to proceed to my driving skills. That's where it ends.